And you know what? If you listen real quick, if you listen real quietly, I think you'll hear somebody tapping. I think you'll hear somebody knocking. Now what we got to do is we got to go out there, men, and kick that door down.
Hill back to throw. Good protection. Fires over the middle. It's caught by Toby Gates. Touchdown. 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 Touchdown Gamecocks. Brandon Bennett taking the pitch. Solomon back to throw. Fires one off the corner. Intercepted over there. And with the football is Benji Young down the sideline. And he's in for a touchdown. And the football game is all over as Carolina has defeated Clemson 33-7.
USC, 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 USC.
This is what it's all about. Last year, this is how we want to go out, baby, beating Clemson. The game we always remember right here.
Tell us a little bit about this. What is this now?
Oh, this is the coffin. All the seniors brought some dirt in. We're going to nail the coffin up and bury it on our practice field. Right. First one, baby. We're going to have many more of them.
Oh, it felt great. It felt great. We knew what type of team we had. We knew we just had to put it together. Everybody came together, special team, offense, defense, everything was just great.
That's a good job right there because you answered the bell in a hostile environment when nobody believed in you, when all the sports writers said you were going to lose, when everybody in the country except, hey, listen up now, except us, because we know how hard we worked. And look at what hard work does, man. Look, it wasn't even close. Look what hard work does.
So what about that 5-point spread?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think so.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Gamecock Football with Brad Scott. Pack your bags, we're going bowling. Carolina goes to Death Valley and defeats Clemson 33-7 to give the Gamecocks their first winning season since 1990 and ensures us 365 days of bragging rights. Coach, congratulations. You made us state champs, and nobody or very few people have gone into Death Valley and put so many points on the board. In fact, the most points we've ever scored against Clemson and Death Valley. What do you think the difference was? Why did your team was able to go in there and compete like that?
Well, we just had a really focused ball club. I mean, this was a great win for our football team because it was a family. You know, it was together, and it was offense and defense, kicking game. Everybody pulling for one another. We said going into the ball game that we felt like the only way we could lose the game is if we got divided. It's a tough place to play, but if we hung together, everybody pulling for each other, then we could win that ball game. And our kids prepared hard during the week. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that if we played our football game, if we played Carolina football, that we could win that ball game. And I was just so tickled for our team, our Carolina family, our fans, administration, just everybody was involved. It was a very special win this season for our football team.
Your team played very physical, and I think that was one of the question marks going into the game. Clemson had talked about their defense was physical and had gone over a 3-game winning streak and basically doing that defensively. I thought the key to the game was probably your offense and defensive lines taking control of the line of scrimmage.
They did a very good job, and Clemson's a very good football team. Their defense is outstanding, one of the better defenses that we played against this year, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But I think our kids were just ready to play. I think they just came in there very focused, and defensively we set the tone early in the ball game by not allowing Clemson to run the football against us. And then offensively we went in there, we mixed our run and pass, and then our offensive line just began to get a little more comfortable and got better and better as the game went on. And I thought the key to the game was late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter when it seemed like our offensive line was able to really dominate up front. Those hard running backs we had, Stanley Pritchett, Brandon Bennett, did a great job and took a lot of time off the clock, and we were able to preserve the victory.
Well, it was the largest crowd ever to see a football game in the state of South Carolina. And although a lot of you were there, we thought you might want to see some highlights. We'll do the first half when we return on Gamecock Football with Brad Scott.
Gamecock Football with Brad Scott is brought to you by Carolina Pride, the official hot dog of the Gamecocks, by the Womack Nursery Company, supporting South Carolina football since 1989, by Freedman's Jewelers, and by Nations Bank.
Welcome back in, everybody. And now let's go to our first half highlights. And as always, they're brought to us by our friends from the Womack Nursery. And 85,000 plus came to Death Valley, including, Coach, I got to believe, some of the top recruits in the country to watch the Gamecocks take on the Tigers, and a beautiful day for football.
Oh, it was a tremendous day. I mean, the sun was out. It was a fast track. The field was in great shape. Watch our defense take charge from the beginning. There's our middle linebacker right there, Hank Campbell. I told Hank at the first of the week, I said, Hank, I've been thinking about you all week, buddy. I said, I believe it's going to be your best game of your career, and it really was yesterday. But our defense just set the tone from the very start. Here was their first 3rd down, and look at David Turnip. So he'd come through there unblocked, and we had a little pressure off the corner there with Terry Cousins on the blitz. It really made a statement, I thought, for this ball game from the start. We come right out there. We got a little screen pass over to Brandon. Watch the nice blocking out in front right there by the offensive line. Brandon, didn't he run good yesterday? I mean, he put it all together in both as a receiver and a rusher. As we set it up, Steve fakes one way, and watch, you'll see Vincent Dinkins and Big Delvin Herring out there in front leading the way, getting a couple key blocks. Brandon makes a nice move right there. And they had such a good pass rush going there early, we felt like we had to slow them down a little bit with their screens.
Steve comes back, and Coach, this was one of the many times he was able to slip outside and break containment.
Well, he used the pocket, I thought, very well. A big play to Mike Reddick down the middle. We got Mike matched up with the linebacker there. We had our 4 wide receivers in. And, you know, they had a tendency sometimes to take an inside charge, which makes it tough for offensive linemen, and you get pressure on the quarterback that way. We told Steve just sit in the pocket and readjust to the outside if that happens, and some good things did happen for us there because of it.
We moved to the second quarter action. No score in the first quarter.
Right, and they come out now trying to throw the football a little bit, and there's the old tip drill, something we work every day. Bobby John's our secondary coach. That's a drill that they work on every day just for something like that. I'm also proud for Corey Bell to come up with an interception. You know, he's really fought through some tough times for us out there, but he's a good player for us. He was right on target there, makes a catch, and makes him miss a tackle or 2, steps up the sideline. Wally Burnham and his staff, I thought, just had an excellent day. Our defensive coaches, Bob Stinchcomb, Brad Loewen, Bobby Johns, they all just really had a great game plan for us, and I thought we were key to the ball game, especially early. We come back here now, and Steve finds Toby Cates right down the middle. What a pretty throw. We've seen that one before this year. And, you know, Toby's got a great knack for filling that inside. We call it a little vertical route, and he gets mashed up a lot of times one-on-one with the linebacker and gives him a little head move to the outside and then bends that thing back over the middle. Steve's doing a good job with his eyes looking the route off. Finds Toby with just a step right there. A big play, got us on the scoreboard early. I thought it was very important that we could get us a touchdown early in this first half so that we could maybe quieten that crowd down just a little bit.
Gamecocks go up 7-0 on the Toby Cates touchdown.
And then they came back, not to be denied. There's one of the big plays we made on that drive. Stacey Evans in the backfield, Mike Washington, but Clemson really showed their character, and they fought back right after we scored. And then we broke a few tackles. They run the power off tackle and tied that thing 7-7. I was getting a little nervous over there. Told our offense, I said, man, this is the time we've got to go out there and answer the bell. And, boy, what a great job that they did. Look at Steve there. Feather that ball into Toby Cates. Toby picks up a big 30-yard run. I thought a lot of the keys in the game, this was one of the biggest keys, was the fact that after Clemson had gone down and scored and got the momentum back on their side, that our offense in just over 3 minutes was able to take the ball back down and regain the lead going into halftime. Nice play by Steve and Toby right there. And then we come back with the touchdown. You saw this last week against Florida. Our old hard-running fullback here, Stanley Pritchett. I tell you, Stanley, he smells that end zone now. He's going to get in that thing. He is our leading touchdown maker this year in the running game. But I want you to watch the fine blocking by the offensive line. Vincent Dinkins in there at center. But watch our split guard and split tackle there. Open that crease up on the backside. Stanley's able to power through it, and he's not going to be denied. This was a key going into halftime, 14-7.
Lots of highlights in the first half. The Gamecocks up 14-7. But as we all know, we had a bunch of highlights in the second half, including an outstanding second half kickoff return. And we'll be back to talk about that when we return on Gamecock Football with Brad Scott. Welcome back in, everybody. And, Coach, before we get to second half highlights, I've got to ask you about the play of the year, if not maybe in college football, and that was the lateral throwback that you opened up the second half with. Tell us when you started working on that. When did you decide to run it?
Well, that's something that we put in during our open week, and we knew we had 2 big ball games left. We had Florida, and we had, of course, the Clemson game. And unfortunately, in the Florida game, we never got in a position to be able to use it. But it was something that I knew that we'd probably use. So I went in there at halftime and said, "Men, the stage is set. It's a close ball game. We're going to receive the ball." We'd practiced it a lot. I said, "Oh, Brandon, now you take that thing right up in there." And I said, "You really suck them up. And Reggie, you just act like you're not even interested in even being out there on that field." I said, "Don't you give it away." And we had that wall coming around there, and Monty Means said, "Monty, you know, there's one guy that can make the play. You're ready for that. We've worked it all week. Daryl Nicola, if you can block the doggone kicker, we'll score." And they got excited about it, and we had to call it. And it turned out to be a big play in the game. I was happy for our football team, for our crowd and our fans, because, you know, that's Carolina football. This staff here, we're going to take some chances, but we're going to try to be exciting. We're going to try to take advantage of every opportunity we can to give our kids a chance to win, and that's what he did.
A little doubt it put him in position to win. Let's go and find out now how the Gamecocks executed it. Let's go to the second half kickoff.
It couldn't have been a better kick for us because we wanted the ball, you know, over to our right side, and he kicked it deep just like that. It pulled the coverage in pretty far. Brandon ran, look at that front wall. He pulled it right up there, and there's old Reggie Richardson from Florence. Made a great play, and you'll see him run down this sideline there, and there'll be Daryl Nicola out in front right there blocking the kicker. Unfortunately, as he tried to cut back, he got tripped up there by Daryl's legs, Reggie did, but he carried it about 94 yards all the way down to the 6-yard line. And you talk about a momentum swing. Now watch a big block right here that's coming up, the one I was telling you about. Monty Means, they had their outside guy that we felt like had a chance right there. Look at Monty make that block. I think I see Kurt Frederick, Tom Pritchard right there, Calvin Owens leading the pack. I think our players and coaches were helping Reggie down that field right there. Old Reggie's being from Florence. I know Eddie Floyd, Mark Bike, some of our board members from over there are pretty happy about that. And then this is a way to top it off. We run the toss sweep. And I tell you, old Brandon, I think he went in there almost untouched. That's the way you draw the toss sweep up. Excellent blocking right there. Brandon, I'm so happy for him, his senior year, last time to get to play there. Watch Dinkins on the reach block right here. Keep your eye right here on Big Delvin Herring coming around the corner, knocking out their strong safety. Both them two boys are from Jacksonville, and we're rival schools. Delvin blocking on their Dinkins, their strong safety. Made the touchdown, 21-7. We all felt a little bit better.
Brandon had 104 yards on the day, and the 11th time that he's gone over 100 yards, and the Gamecocks have won every time.
Well, and this was one of two great punt returns that Toby Cates had. Unfortunately, we got them both called back for a look right there. You see a little blocking in the back, but Toby took that thing all the way down the field, and we had a good day with our special teams. Bob Stinchcom's heads up our special teams. Our kids have worked hard. They've taken a lot of pride in that down the stretch. Very unfortunate there. I think that happened to us twice, but that's part of the game. We're going to have to do a better job than that and not being, coming up with those violations. Now Steve gets back outside the contain right here, and I think he tucks that ball down and runs that rascal for about 30 yards or so down the field. And Steve is really, getting more and more poised back here in the pocket. Look at him. You don't think he's hurt now. Watch your rush come inside. When you do that, it's a little dangerous when you're losing contain outside. And they were very effective early in the game and getting some pressure on our quarterback by those inside moves. And we just had to tell Steve, you're just going to have to move to the pocket to the outside to throw the ball. They played a little man under coverage there, and he was able to make a big play out of it. Now we come back and we fake the screen over to Brandon. That was successful early, and then we throw it back over to Stanley Pritchett. So Stanley's a hard running back there, and you'll see Steve pump Brandon, come right back over here to our fullback, and watch old Delvin Herring. Delvin really had a big game for us. He pulled back out there and made a key block. There's Vincent Dinkins downfield, and Stanley laying it on the line for the Gamecocks. Set up this first of 2 field goals for Reed Morton. I'm really proud of the way Reed is kicking the ball for us here late in the year. And those were important points for us because every time we added 3, it just kept building that lead just a little bit more, and we began to feel better about it with every point that we could put up on the board.
That was a 13-play drive, 73 yards, and you took 5 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock. That was important, too.
Oh, it was very important. We come back, and all we decided to do here was we were going to pooch kick it and try not to give, let Clemson on a return, or maybe they had something special for us. And you'll see their young man catch the football. He's stripped right there of the ball. And Chris Alford from McBee, South Carolina, picks that thing up. I was happy for Chris. He's another one of our players who worked so hard on the special teams. And good things were happening right now for the Gamecocks. This set up and led to Reed Morton's second field goal of the day, a 33-yarder. And, with that kick, Reed has finished the year here now since the Vanderbilt game, 8 for 8 on his field goals, which is really very impressive.
Gamecocks go up 27-7 at this point.
Oh, and big play here. Watch Chris Rump, Stacey Evans. I tell you, what a combo, what a tandem these two seniors have been this year. We're really going to miss those guys. And they just flat had a great game right there. And reminds me there from Lawrence, South Carolina, is where Big Stacy's from. And we got some friends over in Lawrence, South Carolina. Mark Hall is one of the most dedicated Gamecocks. He's not able to get out of his bed and go to many games, but he watches them all. And I was overseeing him 2 weeks ago. And, boy, he's got everybody's pictures up there, including yours and Coach Morrison's. He's got Coach Carlin's up there, and he said, Coach, I want a picture, but I don't know if I'm going to put it up yet. I'll wait and see how you do against Clemson to decide. So, Mac, we won that game. You better put that picture up, buddy.
He'll take a blown-up one, I'm sure.
Oh, look at Stanley again, up the middle. Now, this was important to our football team here down the stretch, is that we were able to control a little bit of the clock through the running game. And this was going to be a real key to us. And I said, oh, well, it's in your hands right now. Let's see how we're going to do. Look at the great tall sweep here, and Brandon, I think this was a play that he went over 100 yards for the day, which I was very happy for him to be able to, his last regular season home game, and he was able to get 100. This is where you draw the sweep play up. You got to have a tight end block. Boomer Foster makes that. You got to have a guard come out, kick out in the end. Look at Delvin Harris, and then the big fullback block. You get those 3 blocks, you can run this play in college football. And Brandon did that. I saw his mom after the game. She was happier than me and Brandon both. I'll tell you, it was just a good day for him. Now they've got the ball, and they're trying to make something happen right here, and good things are happening for the Gamecocks right now. Benji Young is able to intercept that pass, go in for the touchdown. Benji's from Rock Hill, Northwestern High School. Moose Wallace was his high school coach, and Benji just 27-yard TD put us, kind of put that game out of reach right there, and was able to go ahead there, I think, with the 33-7. And we tell our players, you just never know. Be in the right position. Keep focused on what your assignments are, what you're supposed to do, and good things could happen for you. So it was a good day for them. Look at our players. There's a lot of happiness right there. I tell you, there was more fans than was players out there on that field before that thing was over, I think. But I tell you, that was a special moment. Our players and our coaching staff, do such a good job preparing for this ball game. It made all the difference in the world.
That's the final score, and we want to thank the Womack Nursery Company, as always, for our highlights. The Gamecocks go on to win 33-7. We've got our features and more when we return in just a moment. Welcome back in, everybody. Now let's go to our Womack Nursery's play of the day, and there's little doubt about this one. Here's Tommy Suggs to bring us the second half kickoff.
Let's see what happens here. Ball on the 35-yard line. There's a kick, high end over end. Brandon Bennett's got it about 1 yard deep in the end zone. He starts up at the 10. Now he throws the pass all the way over to Reggie Richardson, and he is gone. He is gone. He's 35-30, 25-20. He is all the way. Oh! He finally tripped up on the 7-yard line.
Bob Fulton was honored at halftime, and Tommy makes the call. Coach, it was one of the most exciting plays probably in the Clemson-Carolina rivalry.
Well, I was just happy that it worked, and I'll tell you, it was good for our kids, and they've worked hard preparing for it. You could just feel that excitement in the locker room at halftime as we talked about opening up the game with it in the second half, and it's just a big momentum shift in the ball game there. I was happy for Reggie. He's done a great job for us this year, and that was a big play.
Now our Turnip Seed & Associates turning point of the game, and Corey Bell, one of the players who struggled a little bit, comes up with a big play for you.
Well, it really was. I think this led to one of our first touchdowns, and got to set the momentum there, and boy, Corey did a nice job. He was where he was supposed to be, and good things that began to happen for the Carolina football team in that game against Clemson.
All right, let's go to our commercials now. We'll be back with our portrait player and talk a little bit about what's in the future for the Gamecocks. Welcome back in, everybody. Our Columbia Farms portrait player for the game against Florida was Boomer Foster. He got his first touchdown of the year against the Florida Gators, and always, he's our academic All-American, an outstanding player for us. Boomer Foster, congratulations. Coach, what about the bowl picture now?
Well, I don't know. I just know where we put ourselves in position to go bowling, and I think next Saturday they'll make some announcements. I'll be as anxious as our fans will be, but we'll find something out next Saturday.
Don't worry, folks. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. Thanks for joining us on Gamecock Football with Brad Scott. We'll see you later.